Okay, hello again. I'm back. This is Savage Mountain Knits. My name's Heather. Welcome back to all of you who have seen my previous podcasts, and welcome to all new viewers. I'm sure the majority of you will be new because we don't have very many viewers thus far. I hope you like what you see, and hopefully you'll come back for more. So this is going to be mostly an update on projects that I've already spoken about in previous episodes, so if you haven't had a chance to see those episodes, go ahead and jump back over to episodes 1 and 2, and you can check out what I'm talking about there. Okay, so today I'm going to start out again, as always, with knitting. And I have a finished object. It's really exciting. Oh, maybe I should talk about what I'm wearing. I forgot. Okay, so this is my Jennifer Steingass sweater. It is Wintersol, or Wintersol, depending on how you determine to say it. You're seeing the exciting part here is the beautiful colorwork yoke, which I decided to do. My husband makes fun of me. He says that they're Green Bay colors. I don't like Green Bay, so I don't know. I just picked two colors that I think look well together. So it's a real pretty gold. Let me get a little bit closer. Real pretty gold and a dark green, and this is showing up pretty well. And I knit it in Knit Picks Hawthorn, which is a fingering weight sock yarn. I really like Hawthorn. For its texture, it's a little bit rougher. It's definitely sock yarn, is what I'm trying to say. It's a little bit rougher on the hands than, say, Stroll or Felici by Knit Picks. But I like that about it. It's a hard-wearing sock, which I appreciate. So that's what made me decide to do a sweater in it. Anyway, but the sweater is supposed to be knit in worsted weight. So what I did was just held two strands together of the fingering weight. And I did 3/4 sleeve. That's what I was saying on the last podcast, is that 3/4 sleeve, well, this is almost a half sleeve, I guess. It's not really 3/4, right? Is my perfect length. I sometimes wish these were longer, but it's very rare. Usually I wish my other sleeves were shorter. So I think I'm going to continue with this half sleeve tradition. It'll certainly save me on yarn, and that's why this was cut to half sleeves. I had run out of the colors, by Hawthorn. The yellow is called Compass, and the green is called Conifer. And as you can see, it's not very long either. It comes just over the top of my jeans. That is something that I would change if I could, is I would make it a little bit longer just in the back. But I usually wear a t-shirt or a tank top underneath of it. I don't have one on right now because it's hot in here. But usually I wear a t-shirt or a tank top underneath of it, and I just tuck that into my pants, and then I don't worry about it. But it does ride up a little bit in the back, for example, right now. So that's something. I ran out of yarn. I used 4 skeins of the Conifer and 1 skein, and I just knit from the inside and the outside of the cake of the Compass for this beautiful. This is my favorite part here. And in the original pattern, she uses 3 different colors. So she switches, like the Conifer would come up to here, and then after that it would be a different background color. But I thought it would be pretty all in one, and it would set off the, I think this looks like wheat. I know it's supposed to look like trees, and that's part of the reason why she named it Wintersol. But I think it looks like wheat growing like this, especially in the yellow, is why when I did the design, and when I chose my colors, that's why I decided to knit it all with the same background color. Okay, so that was my Wintersol. I absolutely love Jen Steingass patterns. I have another one that you'll see probably next week, maybe the week after, that I love. It turned out a little bit oversized, so I made sure that I knit the so I'm generally a 40-inch bust, and that's exactly what my bust measurement is. So I struggle with a lot of patterns. Either don't cover 40-inch bust, or it'll say, with positive or negative ease. So I always err on the side of bigger, because chances of me getting slimmer are slim to none. So what happened with the other one is that I just knit a size that ended up being too large, which is fine. It's a nice, comfy, big, oversized sweater. But I learned from that and knit the exact size 40 for this one, knowing that it would fit me better than. Okay, so now let me talk about my finished objects. And I'm excited to show you. I have to put them on my hands. I'm excited to show you my Outlander mitts. So you've seen this one before. This is the left mitt, but it does have a thumb now. some dog hair on the other one. And then I knit, I don't know if you remember, I was only just right to the bottom of the cabling pattern on the right-handed mitt. So I took them to work with me one day while I was grading. I was giving and grading exams that same day. So I decided, you know, I would be sitting still, grading things, and then I would have some time to keep my hands busy while I was reading papers, reading essays. So what I did was I brought this with me. I hurried up and knit the cable part and then knit the rest of it while I was at work. And then came home that evening and did the thumbs in about a half an hour. So these are the Outlander mitts. And again, these are based on the Pioneer gloves. I think I called them Pioneer mitts by mistake the last time I spoke about them. But they're based on the Pioneer gloves. And I still forget the designer's name on that. I'm sorry. It's linked below. But the Pioneer gloves, which I have another pair of, and they're a perfect weight, just enough to keep your wrists warm. And they have two different lengths. You can do a short length and a long length, and what I did here was just the long length. And then I added in the cable pattern from this Highland Knits book, which is right here. So this is Highland Knits. So here are the, so here are the mitts that it's written for, and they're written for worsted weight. But I just stole the cable design off of them and put it into the, so you can see they doubled it. And these are actually gauntlets. They don't have any thumbs on these. So they did one way and one the other, and what I just did was I did the left cables left leaning and the right cables right leaning. But on the actual gauntlets here in the book, they have one left leaning and one right leaning, one right leaning and one left leaning on your gauntlets. So I didn't do it at the top because this is tight enough. I knew that from having the other pair. I have the other pair and I know that this doesn't need pulled in. And you can feel the significant pullinage of this cable here at the wrist, but I knew that would be okay at the wrist. Okay, so that's the finished object. Outlander mitts. I'm very proud. I knew having the podcast would make me get things done. So I was saying to myself as I was doing them, I gotta get these done. Okay. Alright, so the next knitted item that I've been working on religiously. This has been the majority of my knitting. I don't actually have a whole lot of works in progress this week because I'm working on the same things. So this is the Peggy Sue by Linda Wilgus. Again, it's a top-down raglan cardigan, and I'm knitting it in Knit Picks Galileo Valentine. Ooh. Just beautiful red color. Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. But I have a little bit better lighting today. I'm hoping that it will help all of us be able to see. Okay, so basically, the last time you saw it, last week, I had the cable repeat here at the bottom is a 4-row repeat. So I had knit the first 3 rows of the first repeat, and then you repeat it 11 times. So, but you know what I realized? After I shut off the camera, after I sat down to knit on it then, I started picking up to complete the cable, and it was inside out. I had read it incorrectly, and it was actually the inside, which still looked pretty, but I didn't want it like that. So what I did was I picked back and to the stockinette, and from the stockinette, it's a better color if I hold it like this. From the stockinette, then I continued, and I ended up this whole week and the entire. I just finished up yesterday the entire set of cables, which is 11 repeats of the cable pattern. So 44 rows, minus the 3 that I started with and redid. So you can see now, and I tried it on. I can't try it on right now because I have this sweater on and it won't fit over top of a sweater. It's a very, very, very negative ease cardigan. Okay, so I'm hoping to get this done by Christmas so that I can wear it to our Christmas party, my husband's family's Christmas party. I just have to do sleeves. So I'm just gonna, you know, attach my needles later this evening. And knit straight down until I'm happy with the length. It's set according to the pattern. It's supposed to be, you know, like a t-shirt sleeve, a tee. But I am going to, oh, there's fuzzies all over it. I'm going to knit it at least, I think it will look better on me if I knit it at least to the elbow. I might continue. We'll see what I have left as far as yarn. I know I have 3 balls of this left. I think that's plenty. I think 1 ball each would easily do each arm all the way to the wrist if I wanted, but I don't want that. Anyway, so I'm hoping to get it done for a Christmas Eve party. Let's hope, right? I think I can. Anyway, and the sleeve is just knit around and around and around. They don't have any decreases set in. I'm just going to keep trying it on and see what I think. I just want you to see the beautiful cables. So I'm just going to knit and keep trying the decreases. I'll do them 2 at a time. You'll see here in a minute. I do them 2 at a time on purpose so that when I do an increase or decrease, it doesn't have any effect. Like there's not one sleeve that's different than the other. That's why I knit my stocks 2 at a time too. So that's my plan with that, is to cast on the sleeves, or you know, join up the sleeves this evening, and work on those hopefully tonight, maybe tomorrow a little bit. I've got a lot of Christmas stuff going on right now, and Christmas is soon upon us, so hopefully that will be finished. I haven't found any buttons to match, and I certainly don't have time to order them. I think it will look alright without buttons for Christmas Eve, but I will put on buttons shortly after. So that's another thing that needs to be done, is the button band, but the button band's done in seed stitch. So it should, and it's just, you know, 3 rows or something like that, so it should be fairly quick. It's a very dainty, negative ease, tight fit cardigan. Okay, so that's that. Next, I'll talk real quick. This is the Jimmy shawlette that I was talking about, that I had finished previously, and I love it. It's a worsted weight shawlette, but mine ended up being shawl size. I wrap this whole thing around me all the time. The only complaint I might have is this bind off is too tight. You can see that. You can see that it's too tight. So I can't wrap it all the way around and tie it in the back. I like to wrap it around my shoulders this way, across my chest, and then tie it in the back. But I can do it, but it's tight. So that was and the reason why I'm talking about that real quick is because with my own hand spun, I haven't worked on this at all. I'm just showing you again. My own hand spun, then I am doing the same shawl, right, with hand spun and Knit Picks Wool Dandies tweed. So that should look like this, except that I'm not going to use a 3rd color. I'm going to go ahead and use the brown for this lace panel. You can't see it too well. I don't feel like getting up to take it down. I'm sorry. Can you see my fingers sticking through? So it's just a simple 2 together yarn over lace panel, but it's offset so that they line up in a certain way. So I'm going to do that in the dark brown is what I'm trying to get at. So at the bottom of this, you'll see the dark brown, and then I'll bind off. So that's my plan with this. And I haven't knit on it, haven't had time. I've been knitting on the Peggy Sue mostly. Okay, so, and this is on US 7s. Peggy Sue is on 3. No, Peggy Sue's on 4. Remember, I made that mistake before. Peggy Sue's on 4. This I knit on, I think I knit it on a 4. The body on a 4, and then I jumped up to a 5 for this. Yeah, so that's exactly what I did. Okay, so next work in progress I'll show is the Chasing Blizzard. So up here last week we had the Chasing Blizzard shawl, the other one that I had completed, and this one I got I got this blue section done. Last time you saw it, it stopped at the white, but I got the blue section done. So it's at least a little bit of progress. You can see the color really well today. This lighting setup is working really well. It's a good thing. Okay. So you can see it's making some progress. I took this to work one day too because I knew it's not so it's not so simple as to be stockinette, but it's simple enough that I can be doing other things and still, have my brain in the game. Pretty accurate. It's a little bit brighter on screen than it is in person. It's a little less neon. And there's the other color. I don't have the ball bands in here for those, so I have no idea. I mean, I know it's aspen, but I don't know. And I know that's a pretty famous, I'll have to look it up for you guys. I know it's a pretty famous yarn brand. Not brand, but yarn mark? I don't know. So I'll have to look it up for you. And I bought that at my local yarn shop with a gift card that I got for my birthday. Okay, so next whip is my lovage, which you've seen this part already. You're probably sick of seeing it. This is my lovage that I added to, remember? I think I'm happy. I'm really happy with how it looks because I can't tell. I mean, I can tell with it, but only because I'm really looking. I think the majority of people won't look. So I made myself day before yesterday. Yesterday my husband and I spent all day in the car. We took my mother-in-law to the hospital. Several hours away. It was a 4.5-hour drive. And I said to myself, I need some car knitting because I knew he would drive and I knew I was navigator, but I knew that I needed some car knitting to entertain me while I was there. So I decided to go ahead and cast on the sleeves, even though I hate sleeves. I hate sleeves. Everyone hates sleeves. Sleeve Island. That's why Sleeve Island exists. So I cast on the sleeves for this to go with the lovage. And what I'll do is I will knit the sleeves up through this pattern, right? And then they'll connect, and then I'll continue working the yoke in the round as one large item. And these are on, it's still on zeros. It's on Chalgu red lace zeros right now. I will eventually pop up to a 1, which is what I knit the body of the sweater in. The problem is that the stitch count it's making a poofy sleeve and I'm not liking it. That's why I'm keeping it as low as possible. Also, the pattern, I'm not so in love with the pattern directions on the increases. It's not clear to me. Maybe it's because of my brain, but it says, I'm not giving too much away by talking about this. It says, working all increases as set, so it tells you how to increase. Increase 1 stitch, which doesn't make sense, first of all, because when it says as set, it has you increase 2 in the round, right? So that's going to increase 2 every time. I don't understand why it says with all increases as set by last round, increase 1 stitch at each 6th and following 15th and following 6th, etc. Like, it just keeps changing the numbers. Like, why do you keep following? Why don't you just say at the 6th, at the 19th, at the 20th round, or whatever? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know whether, I just don't know. I don't like this following thing, is what's aggravating me. So anyway, I'm gonna wing it with the sleeves on mine. I've been trying them on. They fit nicely. I try them on like this, thinking that, don't mind my tail, thinking that I want a sweater that comes down here. But what did I just say at the beginning of this podcast? I said, I really like 3/4 sleeves. So maybe I need to be trying them on up here, which in fact would mean that here, let's roll this up a little bit and try it, which would in fact mean that I can go ahead and switch to the 1 sooner rather than later. It's stretchy enough, it's fine. Because this is tight around my elbow, it is not tight around my wrist. Like, the stitch count is so that it's kind of got a little bell shape there, and I'm not into the 70s bell shaped sleeve. So maybe, and this would save me a whole bunch of yarn, maybe I'll go ahead and knit them as if they were starting there. I don't know, we'll see. I really like this length right now as I'm waving my arm around. I don't like when things catch on your sleeves. And today I was eating a cookie, and a little bit later I was walking around the house and I couldn't figure out what was itching. It was like this part of my underarm, and it was cookie crumbs down in my sleeve, and I was like, what the heck? Okay, so that is the lovage, which is coming along, right? I made myself knit. So on that 4.5-hour trip up and 4.5-hour trip back, I knit way more on the way up than on the way back, because on the way back, it was terrible rain. It was dark, and I thought, like, I needed to hold on for dear life. There was no content knitting while I was on the way back. So I got a good bit of sleeve done, right? I think that's a good bit. So you can officially consider that progress on the lovage. Yay! It's coming along. I originally hoped for this to be my sort of casual Christmas sweater, but I see that that's not happening, so I'm not gonna stress out about that. And then this is in that bag. I keep just casually mentioning this. This is the it's Sue, and she is Crafty Knitter 7 on Ravelry, and her Etsy shop is the Tangled Skein CA. She's in Canada. And I got this Matryoshka bag. They're sitting up there on the top of my armoire. I have a Matryoshka collection from when I was young, so as soon as I saw this in her shop, I said I have to get it. And it's a nice, what do they call these? Japanese knot bags? Is that what they call them? Where you have one long handle, one short handle, and you just slide them through. Don't mind the cat and or dog hair. It's all over this, but she does a wonderful job. I haven't seen her put any bags in the shop for quite a while, so I wouldn't expect to see any. She's doing just mostly stitch markers right now. Okay. Oh, Zweig. I knew there was something else that I've worked on. You're not going to be able to tell. But I have worked on my Zweig, which is by Caitlin Hunter. I don't know why I almost said Marie Wallen. Marie Wallen was the last sweater. And this is with the yarn that I dyed. Oh, that's showing up really nicely today. And my Winterberry from Mountain Colors Yarns in Montana, which I picked up on my trip to Colorado. So I'm on the yoke section of it, the lace yoke section. Oh, that's showing up pretty. That's exactly what it looks like. And you can see this is my post. Every stitch marker in the house is on, right? Every stitch marker I own, pretty much. There are a couple left, but every stitch marker I own, look at the color, is on this project right now because of so many repeats of the lace, and I'm doing fine with it. It's just not. So a lot of my knitting right now is, I wake up in the morning, I have my coffee, and while I'm waiting on my son to get his wits about him before we go to school, I'll knit while I'm drinking my coffee, while I'm waiting on him to get himself pulled together and everything. And I'm on row 13 of the chart, 13 out of 35 of the lace chart. So I'm waiting on him to get his wits together. I'm waiting on myself to have the coffee kick in. Then I knit a little bit, and that's just not something that you want to knit first thing in the morning when your brain's not all together with it yet. Lace is not made for that, right? That's why. But those cables on the Peggy Sue were I memorized them on, I think, the third repeat. I had memorized the cables from the Peggy Sue. So that was really encouraging, and I was able to do that without really thinking too much at that hour of the morning. That's what I worked on several mornings this week. But now he's off for the Christmas holiday, so I'll have him here with me, and we won't be getting up quite so early, hopefully. I wake up at the same time every day pretty much no matter what goes on, but I'm hoping to sleep in a little bit, fingers crossed. So Zweig didn't get too much work because, as I said, it's a little bit hard to do in the mornings. Okay, so that's all of my whips. I've not worked on anything else. But I'd like to talk to you real quick about what I may or may not be casting on next. And the first thing is, so I want to talk about this real quick. This has been sitting in my stash for 2.5 years. It'll be 3 years this May. So the last time that I went to Maryland Sheep and Wool, I saved up for a sweaters quantity, and I bought a sweaters quantity of this gorgeous Angora merino yarn, and I forget the blend, and I didn't write it down, and I have the card of the booth that I bought it from, but aside from that, so I don't know what the percentage is, but it's very, I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can see the fluff. It's fluffy. Like, there's a lot of Angora in this. It is very fluffy. So I bought 8 skeins, knowing that that would be plenty to do a sweater of. It's beautiful. I have yet to knit a sweater out of it. I've caked it all up. And I started this, oh no, oh dear, it's coming undone. It doesn't matter that it's coming undone. I started this Plucky Knitter cardigan with it. You can tell how wrinkled it is, right? You can see how it's knitting up. It knit up nice at this gauge. I don't even remember what needle I was using. And the needle's obviously not still on it. Look, see. It's not attached anymore. But it was a raglan, beautiful plucky knitter pattern. I can look that up and put that below for you as well. But it has this beautiful cable running down the, just inside the button band. And it just wasn't, the yarn told me that it doesn't want to be this, because look, that's not doing those cables justice. You can see it way better on the camera than you can in real life, but in real life the fuzz, it's just, you might as well not even do it. I was doing all the work for those cables for nothing. So you can see I got quite a ways. I was not yet to the arm separation by a lot, but I got quite a ways down when I decided that this did not want to be this. So I cut it off, put it away, and I haven't worked on it since. You can see the fluff there, the halo. It's beautiful. It's so soft. I can't wait to wear it. But this is not it. So, sorry, I don't know what, you probably have a shot of the top of my head right now. This has been sitting in my stash for almost 3 years. And I think I've finally figured out what I want to knit with it. It showed up on Instagram the other day, and the pattern is still in the making. The pattern has not been, it's still in test stage. So it's a beautiful, now whenever I first saw this, I thought to myself that would make a beautiful cardigan like on Dirty Dancing. I hope most people have seen Dirty Dancing, but in the very beginning of the movie, when Baby is at the sort of dance thing outside, she has on this oversized Angora cardigan, you know, with big poofy sleeves. It's just sort of hanging on her prettily. I think it's a real light blue or real light silvery color, but it's just as fluffy as this yarn. I think that would be the perfect cardigan to make with this yarn. That's what this yarn tells me it wants to be. That's what it seems like it needs to be. So my thoughts with that are that this new pattern looks very much like that. I will link below. It's something about rain, making rain, or it's not waiting for rain, because we know that's a shawl that everybody talked about, but it's something about rain. I'll link below whenever I find it, whenever I'm able to find it on my Instagram. So I'm anxiously awaiting that pattern release so that I can buy it and knit this beautiful yarn into that cardigan. So that's my next plan. It may or may not actually be next on the list, but it is something that I plan to do soon, before this winter is over. So that's that. Okay, so I'm back. I took a little rest bit there to get myself settled before the next segment. Next is spinning. I've been spinning a little bit. I plied, mostly. I plied the gorgeous blue-green merino. This is not looking blue-green on camera at all. It looks more blue. In real life, it's greener than this. In real life, it's kind of like that. Yeah. So the closer I get, the more blue it gets because of the light. So anyway, I applied it. I'm happy with the way it turned out. I think that it's fairly consistent. I have some sections, like this one right here, but not very many, where it, I guess it's pretty much a DK, maybe probably a sport. Some sections where it had a little blowout or a little poof, but not very many, so I'm very happy with that. It was 75 grams originally. I haven't weighed it since I finished it. The exciting thing I wanted to talk about, though, and here's right where I can show you, is, let me scoot closer, is that I finished up one bobbin too soon, which is fine. It always happens. And as I asked before, if anyone knows, please tell me the secret. So I decided to go ahead and pull out, on my Turkish drop spindle. I had started this fiber over the summer sometime, and was able to spin it at a much thinner, much more consistent, and much thinner single. So what I did was I got that out to connect it to the leftover from the other bobbin, and I did that a little bit, and it worked out fine. And then I had still drop spindle left, so I had leftovers again. It was like a horror movie. It was just leftovers and leftovers. So what I decided to go ahead and do was try chain plying just briefly. I was like, it's thinner as a single. If I chain ply it, that'll make it a 3-ply. Maybe it will be approximately the same width. And it is still thinner, I'm going to let you see here, them next to one another. So here on this side we have the 2-ply, and on this side we have the chain ply. If I cover myself up, we'll focus. Focus! Focus! He doesn't want to focus on it. It's pretty close to focused, but not quite. There, there, there. Don't talk. Don't speak. Don't breathe. Because it's focused. So there, you can see the difference. The chain ply on this side and the 2-ply on that side. Oh, come on. It's not going to get any better, guys. I'm sorry. But anyway, chain ply and 3-ply. There, and I have 2 strands of each laying there next to each other. So you can see. So, I'm pretty happy with the way that the chain ply turned out. It's, I can tell that I over twisted it. I think because of the action of chain plying, it takes me longer to go ahead and feed it in, to pull it through itself. So, my plan is, if I'm going to chain anything, I might chain this next project, but if I'm going to chain anything, chain ply anything, then I'm going to make sure that I set on my larger whorl so that it's a slower speed, so my ratio is slower. I only have 2 options on my spinning wheel as of right now. I can buy another whorl, but I have yet to do so. Alright, so this is my next spinning project. So that's the blue-green merino, and again, I don't know where it's from. This is my next spinning project. This is the, where did I put the bag? Here it is. Purple People Eater. That is perfect right there. Don't move again. Don't move. Purple People Eater from Paradise Fibers. And it's Corriedale. Creepy Corriedale. Creepy Corriedale top. I have a whole lot left to do. You can see. I still have trouble shoving it back in the bag. But I think my consistency on this single is pretty awesome. I'm pretty happy with it. It's all fairly consistent. And the colors are beautiful. I don't know what I'm going to make with this, but it's gorgeous. And it matches the wheel. The whole wheel's purple except for the flyers. So it matches my bobbins, matches everything. It's all purple. Purple's my favorite color, so that's awesome. So that's my current spinning project. I haven't spun, I think, since Tuesday. I haven't had it in me. I just haven't felt like it. So that's spinning. Okay, so moving on to dyeing. I haven't dyed anything this week. I don't have anything to talk about there. Sorry, I don't have, as I said before, I don't have any berry yarn. I'm looking up at my yarn stash, which is right behind you. So I don't have any berry yarn, so I have not dyed anything this week. No plans to dye anything in the future either. I asked for some bear wool for Christmas. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Can't be too picky about Christmas gifts, right? So, again, this is the that I dyed over the summer. Oh, that's perfect. That color is really showing up well. I'm going to have to continue with this lighting setup that I have right now. So this is that I'm going to make the socks for my grandmother with. We're going to visit my grandmother. I'm going to do this as the toe and heel. It's a navy. There, you can kind of see that it's a navy minus the dog hair, sorry. So I'm going to do navy toe and heel on this for my grandmother. We're going to go see her between Christmas and New Year's, which is what we generally always do and celebrate down there. So that's my plan with that, but no actual recent dyes. I'm planning also on, as far as next knitting projects, I'm hoping to get a hat done for both of my boys, my husband and my son, as well as my dad. So all 3 of my boys, ASAP, because it's rainy and not so cold out right now, but it's been cold recently, so they all 3 need some new hats. So my next knitting projects as well. As far as small projects go, and I'll probably take those. That's what my original point was. Is that I'll probably take those with me on the trip so that I have something to knit while I'm there. Between the socks and that, I will have something to knit. So I think that's it for today. I don't think I have anything else to talk about. I'm checking my pile. I have a ginormous pile here at the bottom. Yep, nothing else to talk about. So I will see you all next time. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Savage Mountain Knits. I can be found on Instagram at Savagemountainyarns and on Ravelry at Savage Mountain Knits, Savage Mountain Knits group is what it is in Ravelry, and it's run by myself, Heather Cisneros. So that's all. That's where you can find me. I will link below to as many things as I can. I'm sorry if I didn't go over them in enough detail. If you would like more detail, let me know. If you would like more information about something, let me know. Thank you for joining me again, and I will see you next week.